So we had the privilege of teaming up with Peach to make a headless #1 variant courtesy of Scout Comics that everyone's getting in their mystery mail call this month. Got until the 15th to sign up and join the community and support the show. Throughout this process, I got to work with Peach. I got to chat with her. I got to ask her questions, see her process. So of course, with this new friendship, I like to call her my friend, I was able to get some insight on the process, the creative process. So this list is special because we're not just going over the hottest selling comics in the market. Because right now, I had to redo this list multiple times because there's so many spikes happening. Nah, this list is about showing you stuff that no one's ever seen. We have preliminary drawings you're gonna see on screen today, and we have commentary from the artist. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's dive a little deeper. We're not going to just see what you've seen printed, but let's kind of go through the process that she has on some of these more memorable pieces that you guys are all familiar with.
Number 10 on the list is The Clock issue #1. This is a store exclusive done by Peach, and it's seeing highs at $130 at 9.8. And this is a really cool example of something that you got to assume happens when artists are hit with so many jobs. They can't know every single comic that they're going into. And Peach was very upfront about this. She said that she was given the freedom to do what she does best, create something that was in her horror style. And that's what she did. She didn't have background on this comic. It's a very dark comic, but you know what? I think she killed it.
It's a cool cover, like you mentioned. You kind of have this dichotomy of madness on one side with clock parts, and then you have the other side of just a regular person. So it's, like you mentioned, a creepy, dark story because the world comes or succumbs to hundreds of millions of people coming down with a very aggressive cancer. And it's this global conspiracy, and one doctor's daughter's coming down with symptoms. So he's racing against the clock to find this cure, see what's going on, and that's what the story's about.
On one side, you have just this gorgeous color work, watercolors, and then on the other, you have tragedy. You have something that looks demonic. You have something that is like a cancer. It's dark, but that's what she wanted. This is her horror style, and she's acknowledging that.
It's classic Peach, especially when you start seeing all these other images. You're like, you know what? That is her style. That is her look.
That's right. And number 9 on the list, we have Peach telling us one of her favorite characters, which is why she was so excited to take on Strange Academy issue #1.
Yeah, the character here is Magic. And if you go back to Magic, she's been around a long time. She actually first appeared in Giant Size X-Men 1. Okay, and granted, her characters changed some to really become this character we know now. But it's a cool, strong image. She's got the sword, and it's a fun character for her. So she really dove in, and I love hearing how artists get to explore characters that they also enjoy instead of just being this job for them.
Peach said that the focus that she wanted to bring to this cover was the beauty, the strength, and Magic's dark side. And I think she accomplished it.
I'm feeling it, Peach. Just like I'm feeling number 8 on this list. Red Mother #1.
9.8's hitting $175.
Yeah, this has kind of got a similar feel of two halves like The Clock. But same thing with her. She didn't have a lot of information to go on. Kind of went back to her darker roots just to give a creepier feel because the story here is pretty creepy.
I want to see more horror independent titles request Peach variants and let her go wild. Let her do what she's going to do. This is an artist that if you give her little direction, she's going to just run with it.
I always wonder about people who are strong leaning towards horror in their favorite list for things to watch and draw. I just wonder at what age that tends to kick in. For me, it was pretty young.
Yeah, I wonder what she watched, growing up. What stuff kind of stuck with her to give her this almost Ben T style horror vibe to her art. She mentioned to me that when she was young, if her mother was ever trying to get her to be a little bit quieter, maybe she was getting a little bit rowdy, a little loud, all she had to do was be provided a crayon.
That's it? A crayon? I haven't tried that with my kids, but I don't think it would work. I'll be honest with you, man.
Well, that's all Peach needed, man. She needed a crayon, and that is very telling. Something that's colorful. She was doing color work at a very young age. She could have said paintbrush. She could have said pen, pencil, some type of ink. No, colorful work, and I think that shows in her art.
That's a cool little tidbit, man. I got to tell you. I like hearing the evolution of an artist, and I also want to talk about this next issue. Number 7 on this list.
It's hot,
Star
man.
Wars, man.
It's a gorgeous book, man.
Yoda. We all love Yoda. We love Baby Yoda. We like old Yoda.
The pressure of drawing Yoda. Can you imagine?
Oh my God. To have to live up to a standard of Yoda-ness for the community.
Let me read you this quote, comic fam, because my first thought was the pressure, right? Like, new on the scene, drawing a major character like this. And this is what she said. I was very careful not to destroy everyone's image of Yoda. Calm, peaceful, and a strong master, a leader. It was a lot of good pressure, but I also wanted the cover to have the Peach vibe. I love that.
If you haven't realized yet, obviously Peach likes to use watercolors, okay? And then the finer details with other utensils, okay? And so in this image, and a lot of what her work, you find out that she has a lot of her emotion and expression coming in through the eyes of the character. That's really, really important to her, okay? So like, you know, you hear the windows to the soul are through the eyes. And I know when I look at this, I kind of get a lot of what she's saying. I mean, I do feel like it like circles and radiates the entire image around his face into his eyes. And when I look at it, I see Yoda and I can just see him. And you know those action movies, okay? With action movies where the hero is down and he's up against the villains and he's just like, when I get out of this, I'm going to kill you and then you next. And that's what Yoda looks like he's doing. He's like, man, I'm going to take out this guy, then that guy, and the three dudes behind you right now. And that's just like the confidence look, the calm, and it's just a great image.
She said that she focused on drawing his eyes to express not only strength, but generosity. He's kind, man.
I see the kind. I do. I really do. But man, I'm more like, Yoda's going to kick some butt right now. That's what I'm looking at. I was like, man, I see what you're doing, Peach, but I'm going to look at it as like, he's going to kick it like 5 dudes on the other side of this page right here.
9.8's hitting $200. This book's kind of been all over the place. And I want to remind everybody, these books are hot. They're at the top of the market, but this isn't a spec list, all right? This is just what's happening and what we're reporting on. I'm personally looking for a lot of these books. I'm not buying them right now. I'm going to be holding off until I can see the prices after a little bit, after things have cooled down on these books, because they are low print, but I want them all.
Clearly, there's a trend of people enjoying her work and being strong sales. So, I mean, for me, I'd be just trying to jump in onto the next wave. You know, having to digest these prices is tough right now. You know, if I see something like while diving through boxes, great, more power to me. But there's so many comics to like out there and put your money towards. It's hard for me to do that at this price point.
Definitely one of those situations where you want to be kind of looking at the comics as they come out to get them early if you're looking to try to score something at 9.8 that may have some value long term.
Boom, next at number 6, man, is a 1 in 10 variant. Read-only memories, number 2. Okay, this is selling for $250 at 9.8.
Yeah, respectable, and I think it's because of the color work.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to say that a lot with her because that's just really her style, man. It's pretty evident. You know, it's nice when you can recognize an artist just by looking at the cover. And I think that's kind of what makes it more prolific and pushes the marketplace is when something is easy to separate from the masses. And that's easy with her work.
She describes this as sci-fi pop, but she didn't want to leave it there.
Yeah, this was an interesting cover. It felt very anime style with the color work and the kind of perspective on it. It felt very like Speed Racer, DBZ, Akira. It's got this Motocompo bike on the front.
The bike. Let's riff on that for a second. This Motocompo is actually what it's called. It's a Honda scooter, the smallest scooter they ever released. And this thing is kind of like legendary in the motorbike community. There's actually trade shows of people who bring their Motocompos out, customized and stuff. They're super small. They kind of transform her up so you can fold them and put them in the trunk of what would have been your Honda.
She disclosed to us how she enjoys drawing motor vehicles. So for her, it's got to have been a little bit of, or it has to have been a little bit of fun to draw something so niche. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm looking at this image here, we're getting to see for the first time a prelim of hers of this particular image. And when you look at it, you can kind of tell how she started, where she finished. It looks like she almost began with the bike and put the figure on top. She finished the eyes because the eyes are so important to her that we get to, she really tries to capture that emotion in her prelim. And we can tell just from this that it's so close to the final.
Right. I find that fascinating. And the fact that she went out of her way to mention that she just really likes drawing mechanics, bikes, transportation types of stuff, I want to see more covers like that. I want to see stores who are going to get variants made possibly incorporate some type of, I don't know, weaponry, mechanics, Mad Max style vehicles. I don't know, but I like the direction that could go.
Yeah, something, it would be interesting to see that more mixed, because I don't feel like I've seen any of that from her work. You know, I'm not talking like Kirby Fourth World, like crazy machines, but it'd be interesting to see her spin on mechanics.
This is a 1 in 10 variant. It's low print, and it's spiking because of the cover.
Yeah, this is another title. Look, a lot of us aren't going to be familiar with these, and for her to have to not work from much either because there's no backstory, we get to see early interpretations of these characters. So just gathering from what she had, she wanted to draw all the female cast for this comic of Vamps vs. Wolves, number 4.
That's right. This book is hitting $300 at 9.8 and climbing. And this was a Kickstarter. And she actually knew the creator, which is kind of fun. I wondered, you know, some of these independent titles, you know, I'm sure she was, you know, people reached out to her. But others, yeah, she has friends in the game and she's doing them a solid. And she had the opportunity to pick any one of the characters and she couldn't pick. So she picked them all. And she did it in this pinup style.
It definitely feels very pinup-like. And I can definitely appreciate that because you just don't get to see it that often because it's kind of almost, it's not like a modern pinup. It feels kind of more classic style. And, you know, for me, I appreciate that.
Next on the list at number 4, we have a major moment for the Peach Momoko resume. You know that's on there. We have Marvel Rising issue number 1, the 1 in 25 variant, hitting $325 at 9.8. Her first Marvel cover, her first comic book variant. Can you imagine the pressure?
I can only imagine, okay, coming up to the big leagues, and you're just like, this is your first at-bat.
She says she had to leave an impression on the publisher. Like, she had to go into this with, like, guns ready. She had to bring the heat.
And to step up and show them what you're worth by drawing more than one character.
She could have drawn 1 character, 2 characters. Nah.
Yeah, she could have just been, you know, do my job. I'll get it done. I'll just keep it easy and simple, okay? Just the norm. No, I'm going to do, what, 6, 7 characters on here. I'm going to show them my range, okay, and spit it out. And for it to hit like this in the marketplace, that's pretty amazing.
We've been talking about the corneas a bunch in this conversation. We've been talking about those optics. And here you see it all come to a point. She specifically said she had to bring the energy through the portraits, and it's all coming from the eyes. It was all here. And that's why you have multiple portraits here, all communicating such energy, such vibrance, the peach vibe.
There are going to be no shortage of peachisms here, okay? We're on a peach crush right now. All right, and we're going to number 3, and there's some heat coming here, guys. All right, these are titles you're really gonna recognize. We got Silver Surfer Black. You guys all remember Silver Surfer Black, right? I mean, that was a major hit. This is issue number 4, 1 in 25 variant. We are seeing 9/8 sales of this book for $375.
This cover is classic. You have Null going up against the Surfer with a broadsword in his hand, defending himself. And this book started out different. We actually found out that the preliminaries of this had a completely different weapon in Silver Surfer's hand.
Hot diggity dog. This is why you subscribe to ComicTom101. We are going to get a glimpse of what this could have been for the cover. We are seeing another version. And honestly, it's pretty damn cool as well. You know, I love the kind of Silver Surfer board. I think that was a wiser decision. But when you look at this image, I mean, check out this prelim. He's got a rapier, okay, instead of the board concept. So we're talking like Griffiths from Berserk. Shout out to Gem Mint, by the way, Berserk. And we're going with now a broader sword to match another broad sword. But look how cool this is, man. Look at this.
Yeah, look at Silver Surfer's stance. It's so different. It's more of an attack mode than in defense. And this is really cool because when you're working with Marvel, you're going back and forth. Like, you got to get it right. These are very major characters, and it's going to be done by the creative team's specifications. So she did change it, and we have more preliminaries to look at.
I know Peach was excited about Null. I mean, you got this demonic character, okay? And so to get the freedom now to draw something that you love like that, she put it all out there. And he looks dark. He looks threatening. He looks massive and intimidating. And she did a great job. And if we look at these images, we could see her process. You know, you have the beginning stages of her watercolor, And then she comes into finer details with mixed media, where we're like talking like ink, colored pencils, and anything that's really going to layer on top properly.
Yeah, take a look at Silver Surfer Black's arm. That's color pencil. That's what makes it look different. Like I was kind of re-looking at this cover to see how, yeah, there's paint in like the red of Null in the sword, but also you have this like almost combination of colors that are coming out of Silver Surfer. And yeah, it was done by colored pencil. Let me read you this quote by Peach. I saw Null as a demonic and beautiful character, and I wanted to really bring out his evil beauty.
See, that's the deep thinking about an artist. You know what I mean? Most people be like, I'm going to draw this dude with long white hair, make him look massive and, dark.
Yeah, she really likes Tradmore's artwork. I mean, we've mentioned this before. Tradmore is the favorite artist of the creatives that we like. And going into this title, you know that she had to make him proud.
I do not know Tradmore personally. But gosh darn it, if you were not proud of that, you better be proud of that. Gosh darn it.
Tell them about number 2, man.
Number 2, Ghost Spider number 2, the 1 in 25.
That's right. Shout out Shannon McGuire.
Yes, this is selling for around $700 at $9.8.
This was actually one of the first books that I covered that Peach did on the show. And when it landed quick. The prices were moving up so quick, so fast. And it's because of a combination of two things. You have Ghost Spider looking so good right on the cover, taking a selfie. And that has become a classic Peach Momoko shot. We're seeing other renditions, homages, if you would, of her own work that she's doing herself because people are requesting it. And look at the background. She went nuts with the color work, and I think that's really what draws people in and makes them want to buy this comic.
I don't know how you can't really like this image, to be honest. I mean, the colors behind are absolutely amazing. The whole familiarity of what she's doing and relatability is great.
She says she wanted to portray Gwen's street side. It doesn't get more street than taking a selfie.
No, it doesn't. And it's just a beautiful rendition of Spider-Gwen. And if we take a look here, we get to see kind of how far she goes with her first, just get the concept and the idea. And I think that's captured here very, very clearly.
In this first draft.
Yeah, in comparison to the final.
That's right.
And then we'll move into a much sharper version of pencils and maybe even some inks before she overlays it with her color work.
Yeah. And then boom, we have the final that comes out so vibrant with that spider silhouette, that Mignola negative looking so good.
Yeah, I will put this, for me, is probably one of my favorite pieces for her. And not just because of the numbers selling, but just for the visual aspect of it. It's one I'm really, really digging right now. Probably, it might even be my favorite out of this entire list.
Yeah, it's tied for me with number 1, which is a classic book. It's a key book. All right, we have TMNT issue number 100. This is the death of Splinter. And seldomly do you see a key moment not be listed in titles when it gets sold, because this book isn't selling because it's the death of Splinter or it being a TMNT milestone. No, it's selling because it's a classic Peach Momoko cover now.
This is a cool rendition and form of expression she used for this cover for the Turtles. And the instant I saw that, the first thing that jumped in my mind is Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa. If you are not familiar with this film, you need to watch it. Black and white, foreign film, absolutely amazing. This image emulates very much what samurai posters look like.
And that is what inspired this cover. This issue has seen some crazy gains in as little as a week. When I initially made this list earlier in the last week, this book was hitting around $200. We're seeing sales around the $450 mark now. And I don't know what to say about that price. It's definitely deterring me from getting this book right now. I'm kicking myself for not picking it up a while ago, but the story behind this book is amazing. So you see, Peach actually teamed up with another illustrator, Tommy Lee Edwards, to make a promotional poster at the North Carolina Comic-Con. And this poster had TMNT on it, okay? And this idea came out of this collaboration to have Peach do a variant cover in the style of like vintage samurai films.
Yes, she absolutely killed it with this cover. That's exactly what I'm seeing, and it's exactly how I would envision it to be portrayed. And to have that added pressure, because Kevin Eastman was at this convention as well.
Yeah,
So,
like the day that this was debuting.
yeah, so you kind of have that historical pressures of the creator of these characters that you're portraying, and you're going to have to like face them and hope that they're proud of what you did with their characters.
We actually have shots of different versions of the turtles that you're seeing on screen that didn't make the final cut. She was taking this very seriously. She wanted to get this right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're seeing with Peach right now. She puts a lot of thought behind the being true to the character, being true to herself as well, and really trying to play both sides and honor it equally. And I feel like when you put that extra thought into it and you have those pressures, that you really are doing it justice to whoever you're portraying in your artwork.
Yeah, she's got to give it that Peach vibe, that signature that she has become known for, and gives reason why the community is so pumped about her entering this comic book market.
People are going bananas for Peaches.
Damn right they are. Comic fam, let me know about your favorite Peach Momoko variant in the comment section below. I want to know which one it is.